Chris, you've just been talking on stage. Just give us a little insight on what you were talking about today.
I was talking about, future freight, future operations, what you actually need to look for beyond electric vehicles. Electric vehicles or decarbonised vehicles, alternative fueled vehicles, are kind of simple. They're here. There's obviously some lovely examples in the show behind us. But actually, what else can you be doing? Touching on, again, what you guys are doing in Microlise with Microlise One, the whole ecosystem that goes behind running a modern haulage operation.
You have obviously experienced that fourth generation of your family. Explain a little bit how do you maintain those sort of family values, but also, you know, you're living in a world where you have to modernise. How do you balance the two?
I suppose actually, and it's taken me quite a while to come to terms with this, and my dad instilled it on me. It's actually not trying to take over the world and knowing where your boundaries and your limits are. We maintain our family values by only having 3 or 4 sites, and my dad said you don't want to run anything that's more than 45 minutes away, because there's no point, it's just too much of a hassle driving there in the morning or driving home at the end of the day, and you can't react to anything. So all I see of businesses are 45 minutes away from where I live. I moved to the middle, and it means you can go around and see everyone. And then it's the other things. It's what I have been brought up to understand as how you run a business. It's listening to people. It's getting their engagement. I have quite a big senior management team, so I can do lovely things like this. But I instill power and responsibility and accountability in them. And then it's much easier to only have a couple of layers below them, and everyone feels involved.
And it's about human contact as well. And how important is that within your business?
Oh, very, very important. Again, it's all those things like making sure you have a Christmas party, and we go to Truckfest every year. Quite a lot of my team here today, and it's picking up different bits and pieces with different people. Actually, one of our major customers this weekend, we've got a full-sized football match against them. And it's published all over our social media and on our notice boards, and we'll probably have 3 times as many people that are playing football turn up just to watch and be part of the barbecue and at the bar and everything, and it's just those extra bits to it.
Now I mentioned it's your family business, but that isn't. You started off in DHL. So somebody said to me, "You got an I've got to look at it here. I love it. A passion for parcels, warehouses, and conveyor belts."
I'm just OCD. I just love I love efficiency. No, and again, it comes back to a piece about how you keep a family business going and how you maintain those values and how it works. My dad took the view, being 3rd generation, that the previous generations had just gone straight into business. Man and boy, 14, 15 as it was back in those days, straight into business. My dad was the first one to go out and he's actually a chartered accountant by trade, go out and get a trade and then come into business. And he took that mentality with me and my siblings. So at home, work was never spoken about. We knew about it, and I drove forklifts in the yard at 16, and I've been to Truckfest since I can walk, and all those kind of things. But work was never discussed, and it was never like it was never a Lion King moment where he says this is all going to belong to you kind of thing. It was just not discussed. So it instilled in us that if we wanted to be part of the family business, that we had to go out and prove ourselves, and in theory then work in the supply chain to figure out, actually do we like that? Because then it was a Sopranos sit down or Godfather sit down where it's like, do you want a job? This is it for the rest of your life, because there's succession planning, and it's that thing. So I ended up working through different businesses and I ended up running a local DHL depot of parcels on the international side, and that's when you parcel operators at that level are just a thing to behold. Like you go to EMA and the parcel sort that is multi-level, and people are impressed with your luggage going through Heathrow, but you want to go and see a parcel on an airside setup, should we call it?
Now, one of the things that your company's really committed to is sustainability. And how does that thread go through your own business?
I suppose there was a couple of real drivers behind it. That day that it was legislative, in our eyes, there's no going back. Even if they do delay it, which they shouldn't, then it's going to happen. So you might as well crack on. And again, you come from that point of view of having operated for decades, that you understand that you get first mover advantage. our head office in Cambridge. We also took the view that we were in Cambridge, we're in one of the biomedical tech centres of the UK. They call it the Silicon Fen. So if we were going to make this kind of thing work, electric vehicles, maybe urban consolidation, different supply chain models, we should have the customer base, and it's a customer base we've never been able to get hold of because of who they are and what they are. And there's other little bits and pieces, and in all it was just a stars align moment. We've been part of Renault for over a decade. The service centre was on site. We built that depot 10 years ago, had a good grid connection even at that point. So it allowed us to do a lot of things very quickly. And my guys talk about it, the fact that we did all this, and we did all this about three years ago, and we just thought this is what we should be doing and what everyone was doing. And then all of a sudden, my head of solutions, Jamie, said, we turned around and looked behind us and realised everyone was watching what we were doing. And we're like, well, that's a bit strange. And at that point, it's just snowballed for the last couple of years. And to us, that's given us the exposure that managed to get us on the ZHID programme. It's because of those early mover pieces that's then just why I'm sitting here today.
And how does that sort of influence who you work with? This sustainable route. Who does it involve? How does that?
From a supplier and partner point of view, it's opened, like I said, it's opened a hell of a lot more doors. I mean, you have people like FPS here today that we work really closely with. It's got us into the Innovate UK environment, the Catapult environment. And when you go into those arenas, again, it's a bit like the sustainability bubble, the tech bubble. You end up working alongside the people like Wincanton and Maritime and Kudenagel and all these big tier ones. And then from that, you realise you're one of the only SMEs here, so everyone actually values your comments just as much because you give us a different side of it. So it's opened us up to a lot more professional outfits from a supplier point of view, and even our customers now. We are in effect winning tenders on the basis of what we do from a sustainability point of view. And we all know that tenders for anything nowadays have lots of green sheets, shall we call them. And it's not necessarily the fact that they want to use those services now and it became part of the winning tender, but we won it because they know tomorrow, if all of a sudden their board says we need to do this, they haven't got to find another partner, supplier. They haven't got to ask us to go out and buy lorries that we've already got or charging infrastructure that we've already got or try and learn something we've already learned. So it's definitely opening up doors.
So what about looking ahead? You know, emerging technologies. What is your focus? What's your focus for the future?
Our focus is, like I talked today, looking beyond the electric vehicles now. They're over here, there's big capital costs, as we all know, and that will just fall into the replacement cycle, and that will accelerate as quick as the OEMs drop their prices, really, if we're being realistic. Our focus is on why we're here today, the tech, the innovation, the integration. It's not replacing people, but it's making people's jobs easier. But no, innovation, tech, because that's where, to be honest, the biggest incremental gains will be found.
And just sort of finally, I can hear it's really buzzing in the background. It's really busy. Finally, how important is it for you to be here for human contact? I
think we've gone through COVID. We've seen the rise in Teams and Zoom, and I think it's going back it is definitely going back the other way now. Everyone's, to a certain extent, sick and tired of it, and it's actually found its place. We do 2 or 3 Teams calls a day, and it's efficient, and it's got its place in your working day to have certain conversations, same as telephone, same as an email has, and how that dynamic is performed. But I think events like this today here in Coventry with Microlise are key, and especially like this is actually my first time here, and it strikes me as being the perfect mix, perfect size, the perfect clientele, if we call them that, in partners, people. It's the right amount of busy, and the best thing actually is the way that Microlise have structured the day. You don't have to go and sit in the main theatre all day and think you might miss out on something. There's lots of breaks, there's lots of little workshops, and there's lots of points in time in the day where you can go and network and you get the best of all worlds.
Chris, thank you so much for talking to us, and get out there and really enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.